Mhm. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Jaya Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Jaya Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Yamuna Tira Vanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Jaya Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiva Vanachari Yamuna Yamuna Tiva Vanachari Yamuna Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hariba, 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 Nitai Gaura Hariba. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Shri Isopanisad ki Jai, Samaveta Bhaktivinoda ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Pramanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So we continue Sri Isopanishad Mantra 7, second last mantra of Sri Isopanishad. So this is covering the last section. There's 19 mantras here. There's actually 18, 18 just because Sri Isopanishad, the invocation is included. So the last section is prayers of longing for Ishwar to reveal himself. Okay, just some revision. For those that were here, for those that weren't here, you can guess what it is. Why does a devotee need to pray to the Lord to reveal himself? Why does a devotee need to pray to the Lord to reveal himself? So even if you weren't here last week, or the week before actually, why do you think a devotee needs to pray to reveal himself? Any takers guess? Even if it's wrong. The devotee shouldn't need to pray, but in these verses, but we hear that in these mantras, the last mantras or the last section of Sri Isopanishad, the devotee is praying. So true, the devotee doesn't need to pray. Now, why, from your perspective, why shouldn't a devotee pray? They should know God. True, they know God exists, but at the same time, they want the Lord to reciprocate with them, to reveal himself. So agreed, because remember that if the devotee doesn't accept or believe that God exists, he's not going to pray for revelation, right? So the fact that he's praying for revelation means he accepts Krishna exists. And we know Krishna exists, but then the devotee is still praying for the Lord to reveal himself. Because the Lord is a person, he need only reveal himself to those he wishes, and so he must appeal to him. So we must appeal to him favorably and personally. Krishna will only reveal himself, or rather he holds the right and the freedom to reveal himself to whoever he wants to reveal. He's not going to reveal himself to everyone. If an atheist says, I want to see God, if you exist, show me, you prove. Krishna doesn't need to do that. Right? It's not that Krishna's power is going to get minimized if he doesn't reveal himself to the atheists. He's completely banned.
Question on that. Krishna does reveal himself, but is everybody able to see that? Or is
no. Yeah, that means if Krishna reveals himself, within that revelation is already the potency for you to accept and see him. 5,000 years ago when Krishna came, Prabhupada said approximately 100 people on the planet knew that Krishna was God. Everybody could see him, but nobody recognized him, or very few recognized him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. See? So here the devotee is accepting, I know Krishna is God, but I want to see you. That desire to want to see Krishna, that desire for Krishna to reveal himself, his personal form, his personal interaction, that is a favorable desire for devotion. Yeah. So just for example, just like praying or chanting is good, but it's only on one level. When you chant with the desire to associate with Krishna, to be with Krishna, to want to be with Krishna, for Krishna to reveal himself, that's a higher level of chanting. Some people will just chant to finish their rounds. Because I made a promise, I made a vow, to finish it, done, then I can carry on. See? And they're happy. I promised, and I'm happy, and I carry on. Some people want to chant, but with a greater desire, to connect themselves with Krishna. And others, they would want to chant for Krishna to truly reveal himself to them. So different degrees of chanting. Those who are on the highest level, they would chant, and while chanting, they actually associate with Krishna in the pastime. They're right there with Krishna, interacting. So different levels. So it's important that we should pray to Krishna for revelation. We should pray to Krishna, please, reveal, please accept me. That's why Prabhupada said when you're chanting, that's the prayer. Oh my Lord, please engage me in your service. That's what it means. Because if Krishna said, okay, I accept you as my servant, what happens? Huh? Yeah, what you said?
So stop serving.
No, if Krishna says, I accept you as a servant. You praying to Krishna, please accept me as a servant. Krishna says, okay, tatastu. What happens then? Or nothing happens. Krishna just says, okay, I accept you, done. Now you carry on with your life. What's going to happen if Krishna says, okay, let me give another example. So a wealthy man comes and he says, okay, I need somebody to, travel with me, pack the bags, be my chela. I want somebody to carry my bags all over the planet. I'm traveling from country to country. I just need somebody to be with me, any menial service, pack my bags, right? I need somebody, any takers. So let's say somebody says, okay, I'll accept. What happens now? Say, you said something? Right. So immediately, right. So in us, okay, right, fantastic. You okay? Great. Right. Tomorrow is now our next trip. We're leaving tomorrow morning. So and so time. So you're going to go start packing. You're already going to start. He's already going to engage you. Right. Will you have to be worried about the plane fare? No, because he came with a proposal. Would you ever have to worry about your accommodation, the food? No. Wherever he goes, he's already going to make arrangements, and you just have to follow and do what you have to do in terms of a servant. Okay. So you're praying to Krishna, oh my Lord, please engage my service. And he says, okay, tatastu. What's going to happen? Everything's taken care of. That means Krishna will reveal himself. You'll know your relationship. You'll know what service you have to do. Everything will be already arranged because he's already accepted you. See, Krishna's process is not like this. I accept you. Now you have to go through all the HR processes. Fill the documents in, get your ID, get your visa. No HR process required. As soon as Krishna says, I accept, everything automatically becomes arranged. See? So that's where even if you're disqualified, if Krishna says, I accept you, you become qualified. Within that acceptance is everything included for you to see Krishna. So if you pray to Krishna, please reveal to me, and Krishna does reveal, within that revelation, everything is included. Whatever disqualification you may have, Krishna will overall. It'll become overridden. It'll become nullified. Yeah. Okay. Why does the Lord, who is the source of all living entities, and should therefore be impartial to all beings, especially favor his devotees? So why does Krishna, who's practically the father of all living entities, be partial to his devotees? Yes. And not only do they accept him as the supreme, but they want to serve him. So that relationship is there, right? And it's a natural relationship. Desiring loving exchanges, the Lord reciprocates with the living entities as they reciprocate with him. So if you want Krishna as an order supplier, what will Krishna do? You want Krishna as an order supplier? He'll supply. He'll be an order supplier. If you want Krishna in your life to just be in the background, then he'll be in the background. If you want to be in the foreground, he'll be in the foreground. It's what you want. He's not, if you want him in the background, he's not going to come in the foreground. Because as soon as he come in the foreground, what you can do? You push him back. Hey, what you doing here? Sorry, you're not invited here. Can you please take the back seat? See? So Krishna will not force himself upon the living entity. He is equal to all living entities, but those who try to surrender to him, those who want to serve him, Krishna will take that step further. Krishna will take 10 steps further. Okay? Okay, why would understanding the Lord to be the source of everything lead us to want to engage in his devotional service? Why would understanding the Lord to be the source of everything lead us to want to engage in his devotional service? We all should have some answer to these questions. So we know that there's no other purpose. Good. Yes, because he's the source of everything. We know we're coming from him, so that's our connection. That's our eternal relationship. Good. If you know that he's the source of everything, what quality would manifest in your heart? Love, devotion. Yes, but even before that. That's you. Awe and reverence. Before that. Because consider, if he's the source of everything, consider what, in the most basic, practical way, for you to live, even separate from him, okay, what you need. Give me 3 things that you need to live, even separate from Krishna, even not interested in Krishna. Food and shelter. Care. Air. Gravity. Yes. You need so many things, and who's providing that? Krishna, right? So then what quality would manifest? Gratitude. See, even for somebody who doesn't accept Krishna, the fact that he's supplying those energies for you to even serve separately from him means, thank you, Krishna. Even though I don't believe in you, even though I don't accept you, but you're providing all these things. Because if there's a law, there must be a lawmaker, right? They cannot, you can't not have a law without lawmaker. So we realize our most intimate, loving relationship with him as the source of our own selves. So we coming from him, we are connected. Therefore, one understands, because I'm connected to Krishna, he's the source, then naturally that relationship to engage in his service begins to dawn. Or as we said, when you begin to realize that actually everything is coming from him. So therefore, when we grow up children, right? So somebody gives something to your child. What are you going to tell a child? Say thank you. So then we can ask the question, how many things have Krishna given us? Everything. And how many times have we said thank you? So even when we're chanting Hare Krishna, that's really saying thank you. It's the best way to say thank you. Now, what is the ultimate purpose of realizing the Lord? What is the ultimate purpose of realizing the Lord? To serve the Lord? Yes. To reach his abode? Yes. So to serve him, to return back to him. Now, for some of you, this may be, but it's an obvious question. It's like, isn't it obvious? No, for some people, it's not obvious. For some people, to merge with God is the goal. See, for the Buddhas, is to be nirvana, merge with the void, merge with the nothingness. That's what it means to realize God. See? For the impersonal, is become one with Him. So for different people, it's different. For us, is engage in His personal loving service with Him. That's the goal of knowing Him. Okay, let's see if we get this one right. What does Bhagavan mean as per verse 16? Okay, what does Bhagavan means in the usual sense? God, yes, and Bhagavan. So God could be Ishwar. That's the definition of God, supreme. Bhagavan, okay, so you got Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, the personal form, okay. What makes the personal form the personal form in relation to Bhagavan? So if I break Bhaga and Van, Bhaga means opulence, Van means possess. So one who possesses 6 opulences is called Bhagavan. What are the 6 opulences? All wealth, strength, beauty, renunciation, fame. Knowledge, yeah, power. She said strength. So power, yeah. So knowledge, fame, beauty, renunciation. These are the 6 opulences. Now in verse 16, Prabhupada said, "O learned sages, the first syllable of the word Bhagavan, Ba, has 2 meanings. The first is one who fully maintains, So Bhagavan, Bha means one who fully maintains us. Second is he's the guardian. The second Ga means guide, leader, creator. And Van, syllable Van indicates that every being lives in him and that he also lives in every being. So we intimately connected. So Bhagavan basically means that guide, that maintainer, that guardian, that leader, that creator. In other words, the transcendental sound Bhagavan represents infinite knowledge, potency, energy, opulence, strength, and influence, all without a tinge of material in ebriety. Okay, so today's verse. Yes.
So the title of Bhagavan only for Krishna should only be for Krishna, because I know I've heard people say Shiv Bhagavan.
Yes, so Bhagavan is only related to Krishna, but the Bhagavatam also would use Bhagavan for someone who's exalted. Yeah. But that's why in Sanskrit, in terms of the context is key, right? But generally, the title Bhagavan, if you're looking at Bhagavan in terms of Bhagavan Paramatma and Bhagavan, and that is related to Krishna. Okay, mantra 17. Repeat after me. Vayur anilam amritam atedam bhashmantam shariram om krito smara kritam smara krato smara kritam smara Vayur anilam amritam atedam bhashmantam shariram om krito smara kritam smara krato smara kritam smara. So the devotee is praying, let this temporary body be burned to ashes, and let the air of life be merged with the totality of air. Now, O my Lord, please remember all my sacrifices, and because you are the beneficiary, ultimate beneficiary, please remember all that I've done for you. So we know that the devotee is now at a time of death, and he's now praying, my body is going to be burned to ashes. That's fine, but please remember all my sacrifice. Please remember all that I've done for you. So Prabhupada's purport is divided into 2, 4, 6, 7 sections. And we're going to cover these different sections. The first 3 paragraphs talks about the body being a foreign dress. Then the next 2 paragraphs, the best way to give up the body is by surrendering to the Lord and not by going to the Brahma Jyoti. 6 and 7, the importance of the last thoughts. Then Krishna never forgets our service to him. Krishna's mercy is ever available through devotional service. Then the Bhagavatam elaborates this verse and all other verses, and then finally prepare for death by devotional service. So Prabhupada starts with the purport by speaking about this point, that the temporary material body is certainly a foreign dress. The Bhagavad Gita 2.20 clearly says that after the destruction of the material body, the living entity is not annihilated, nor does he lose his identity. The identity of the living entity is never impersonal or formless. On the contrary, it is the material dress that is formless. And that takes a shape according to the form of the indestructible person. So very clear, Prabhupada says this body is a foreign dress, which means that if something is foreign, just like a foreign body that's come into your body, a virus comes into, your white blood corpuscles will start to attack because it's foreign, it's unwanted, it's unnatural, it's not healthy for this body. So similarly, this body is a foreign dress, which means it's not healthy for you. Okay? It's not ideal for you, it's not best for you, it's completely foreign. It's not compatible. This body is not compatible for you. And here Prabhupada is making very clear that the body itself is formless. The soul has a form, and the form is taken, the body takes the form according to the soul. Now, this foreign dress, people have different attitudes towards it. Basically, three categories of attitudes. Three ways we can see this body. We can see this body from a karma perspective, from a bhakti perspective, and from a gyan perspective. From a karma perspective, we can romanticize. We can romanticize his body, and we see people. They obviously, they think the body is all in all, and they desire the best body, so that they can, enjoy the best bodies or have the best body. And people, the movies, everybody has this idea of having the most ideal bodies, male and female, so that they can enjoy. And that's generally the concept. Little do they realize that actually there's a lot of loopholes, a lot of holes within that theory. And we'll explain a little bit the analogies there. But on the other side, we get in terms of gyan, they demonize the body. So they don't glorify the body. They don't think, yes, to get a body is very good and it's wonderful. No, they basically condemn the body. And in bhakti, we don't think it's wonderful to have and glorified. We don't think it's obnoxious to have, but we utilize it in Krishna's service. So in karma, people that romanticize this body, they basically, for example, they want to think, let's say if I get an ideal, beautiful looking wife, beautiful looking husband, then I'll be perfectly happy. We'll have a perfect match. And they'll try to extract as much happiness from the body as possible. Now, consider the soul. How much happiness does the soul want? How much happiness does the soul want? Unlimited. Not ending. Unlimited happiness. Can you get unlimited happiness from the body? No. The body is not like a well that you can just keep taking unlimited water. Right? Which is in the center there. But the body is really like a sponge. And the sponge has limited water. So you squeeze the limited pleasure from the body. Right? Now all the water, all the enjoyment is out. And then you keep squeezing the sponge to get more water. And what's going to happen? There is no more water. In fact, the only thing that you're going to get is pain. See, and that's the reality of this material body. It has its limitation. It's designed that way. Right? It's designed that way. Then on the other extreme, you get the jnanis. They would condemn the body. So what to talk about like a beautiful well where you can drink and extract as much nectar as possible? No. They'll say, no, this body is like a dark well. The body is like a poisonous well. And the fact that you have this body means you are poisoned, means you're doomed. Or it's like a trap. It traps the living entities. So they will, or they'll say this body is simply a bag of bile, pus, stool, mucus, urine. You can consider, right? They say beauty is skin deep. So imagine if I peel my skin, right? You should be able to just like take it out and you hang it one side. So now if I take my skin and I hang it, what do I have left? Flesh, bones, bile, pus, stool, mucus, urine. That's what you got left. Okay, but it's wrapped all in a nice body. See? But the reality is the skin is only so deep. And within that skin, under that skin, is all these substances that Maya's put together and just wrapped it nicely. I normally give the example, it's like taking a cockroach, right, and wrapping it nice with a nice wrapping paper. Right? And it looks very nice. Oh, I like that sweet. I want that sweet. But actually, when you bite it, it's not going to be nice. So that's how the Gyanis will basically, on one end, they'll condemn the body to give you a reality shock, to tell you, hold on, wake up, understand the nature of this body, right? So as devotees, yes, you'll find the scriptures will talk about that. The scripture will give you such graphic examples. But the scripture will say, yes, you have it, but understand why you have it. And really, it's there as a prison suit. It's there for you to use to correct your attitude, to return back to Krishna. So therefore, in bhakti, we say, use this body to perfect your relation with Krishna. Don't try to enjoy it, right? Don't try to get detached from it, but understand that you have it because you separate yourself from Krishna and you want to enjoy separately. So therefore, you've been given this material body, which is a bad bargain. Because if you really analyze this body, it's basically designed for suffering. It's not designed for pleasure, especially the pleasure that the soul is seeking for. So that's the nature. You can try, as much as you want to try to enjoy this body. All that you'll get is very flickering type of happiness, short-lived flickering happiness. That's all. But you'll not be able to satisfy. The soul will never be satisfied with the pleasure coming from the body. So can only be satisfied when you use the body in the service of Krishna, then you get satisfaction. Okay? So the body can be used in these three, or can be seen in these three different ways. And as devotees, we want to use this body as a vehicle to connect with Krishna. If you do that, then that's the best use of this bad bargain, Prabhupada says. And because you want to use this body as a vehicle in Krishna's service, then you have to keep this body healthy and fit for that service. Therefore, you find every letter that Prabhupada signs to his disciples, writes to disciples, at the end, he says, I hope this meets you in good health. Because without good health, you can't render service. See? So health is key for this body to be used. Prabhupada says in a letter, because this body belongs to Krishna. So that's another way to look at it. It's Krishna's property. And if it's Krishna's property, you have to use it in Krishna's service. If you use it for your sense gratification, that means you're a thief and a sinner. And Prabhupada, one purport says very nicely, a thief and a sinner can never be happy. That's why, when people in the material world really say, oh no, we're happy, they're lying to themselves. Only someone who's surrendered themselves to service to Krishna, they can say, I'm happy. Otherwise, the example is given, somebody, they meet in an accident, car accident, and from head to toe, they break, all their bones are broken, so they hospitalize and they now plaster from head to toe. Then you go visit them in the hospital and you ask them, how are you? And what they say? I'm fine. So I'm fine. Oh, you're not fine. You can see you're not fine. You got your hair plaster from head to toe and you're saying you're fine. What's that? But people don't like to say, I'm not well. Just notice, people will not. Because it's going against the nature of being in control, I'm successful. If you say, actually, I'm really suffering, I don't know, it's really bad karma, people think actually you're a loser. Okay? So that, or they may say, yeah, it's okay. But for devotee, no, it's not okay. See, the devotee will say, no, I'm suffering, and Krishna is teaching me a lesson, and I want to, surrender to Krishna. So Prabhupada says, because this body belongs to Krishna, and we are using it in his service, it should be kept in good working order. A little dal, little rice, some vegetables, few chapatis is a substantial diet, along with a little fruit and milk. 2 cups of milk a day is sufficient. The Ayurvedic system of eating is to decide how much you can comfortably eat, then take half of that amount, fill the remaining half, 1/4 with water, and leave 1/4 for air. This simple, regulated diet, along with strict cleanliness, will keep one healthy, strong, and free from disease. So normally what we do, we put on a plate how much we can eat, then you double it. Right? So that's not the best way. So the body, just like, is like fuel into a vehicle. How much you put? How much fuel you put in the vehicle? Yeah, as much as a tank can hold, right? You don't tell the driver, not just keep filling it, don't worry, just keep filling it. Yeah, when I tell you to stop, you stop. No. That's not really going to be, or you'll say, okay, no, when you fill the tank, just fill the boot. Right? Nope. You basically use, you take as much as required. So the point is to be healthy. The body needs to be healthy. The materialists, they want to be healthy to exploit the body for sense gratification. We want to be healthy so that we can serve Krishna. Now, many people, they are fascinated with this body, the wonders of the body. And no doubt, the body is an amazing machine. It's designed, it's created in a amazing way. But the Vedas make it very clear what the body is. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his prayer, Sarira Vidya Jo Jorendya Taikal. This body is a material body. No, this material body and the senses are our greatest enemies. And Prabhupada says, so long that we got this body, you will have so many diseases. So how you can get rid of these dukkha? Therefore, it is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. How you consider that we shall make it adjusted? That is not possible. Therefore, it is duty. This human form of life is meant for realizing what is my position. Okay? So it's, the scientists, they're striving to make this body disease free. And it's not possible, no matter how advanced you can become. You can try to let's say they'll find cures for cancer, and they'll find cures for so many diseases. That's fine. You find cures for all the other diseases, what happens? New one comes up. See? So you cannot avoid, you cannot stop diseases. It's just the nature of how the material world is designed. And even if you have let's say you cured all the diseases in life, so now there's absolutely no diseases, what's going to happen still? You're still going to die. Right? And in fact, death will become even more painful. Because now there's no disease, right? So now you're living such a blissful life, no disease. And all of a sudden, now you have to die. And you know that death is coming. So that becomes even more painful. Whereas if you know you're becoming old and diseases, that disease, Shiva Goswami says, is your best friend. Because it teaches you to become detached from this body. It teaches you that this body is not all in all. And this body really perpetuates our forgetfulness. of Krishna. This body is such a powerful form of ignorance that it even puts you in forgetfulness of you forgetting that you forgot Krishna. That's how powerful it is. It can put you in Maya that you won't even remember that you forgot Krishna. Okay, so we have to understand the reality of this material body. And this is why Prabhupada is saying it's a foreign dress. It's not part of your nature. It's not your spiritual nature. Then Prabhupada in the purport talks about how you get different bodies. In the material world, material nature displays wonderful workmanship by creating varieties of bodies for living beings according to their propensities for sense gratification. So, what gives you a different body? Why do some living entities have a hog body and some have a lion body? What we read here, what does Prabhupada say? Yeah, your desires, your propensities for sense enjoyment. You want to enjoy in a certain way? Okay. Nature will give you a body for that enjoyment. Right? The hog wants to eat anything and everything? Okay. You want to eat meat? Okay. You want to sleep? Give you a bear. You want to mate? We give you a pigeon. So every living entity has a certain desire, certain propensity. Every body vehicle has a certain. It's like you want to drive fast cars. So if you want to drive fast cars, you're not going to get a Daihatsu. Right? Even though Daihatsu can go a little fast, but it's not not the best vehicle, right? You want a racing car, you want a sports car, you want because you want speed. You want to farm, you're not going to use Daihatsu. It's a wrong vehicle. You don't even use a Mercedes Benz for farming. You need a tractor. Okay? You want to fly 900 kilometers an hour, right? And you don't want to touch the ground. You're not going to use a vehicle. You're going to use aeroplane. So different vehicles have different purposes. Similarly, different bodies have different vehicles. Human teeth are so made that they can chew and cut fruit and vegetables, although these are the two canine, although there are two canine teeth, so that primitive humans can eat flesh if they so desire. Okay, so the body is designed for specific purposes. Okay, Ashita, read.
They change according to the living entity's desire for sense gratification. In the cycle of evolution, living entity changes bodies one after another. When the world was full of water, the living entity began to practice form. Then he passed to vegetable life, from vegetable life to worm life, from worm life to bird life, from bird life to animal life.
So you're probably saying immaterial of what body you get for what desire you want to fulfill. In any case, whether it's animal or man, it is a foreign vehicle. It is a foreign body, right? It's not natural to you. Foreign also means let's consider what is your nature as the soul. Three qualities: eternal, full of knowledge, and full of bliss. Right? So if you are eternal, what things are you looking for in the material world? Those that are eternal. What relationships are you looking for? Those that are eternal. What pleasures are you looking for? Those that are eternal. Because that's your nature. It's like the lion's nature is to eat meat. Right? So if I throw a piece of flesh, let's say I got a rabbit here and I got a lion here. Okay? So I take a piece of flesh and I throw it. What's going to happen? Who's going to go for it? The lion. If I throw a piece of carrot, the rabbit. Right? If I throw the piece of carrot, the lion is going to leave the carrot and go for me because it wants flesh. It's its nature. Okay? It will move towards its nature. Similarly, I'm spirit. If I'm spirit, I'm going to move towards my nature. I'm going to gravitate to my nature. So therefore, I'm going to gravitate to those things that are eternal. That's why Prabhupada says this body is foreign. Because this body is, just consider, Sat, eternal, Chit, full of knowledge, and Ananda, bliss, full of bliss. That's me. The body is, compared to Sat, Sat means eternal. So the body is not eternal. In Sanskrit, what's not eternal? Asat. Then knowledge, the soul is full of knowledge, Chit. Okay, what is the body? Yes, full of ignorance. Right? What's in Sanskrit full of ignorance? Achit. Right? Okay, don't use the A for the next one, not going to work. Right? So, because the A is already there. Right? The soul is full of Ananda. Material body? Full of misery, called Nirananda. Okay, so it's completely against the nature of the soul. It's foreign. And therefore, it's a foreign object, foreign dress. And then Prabhupada talks about the evolution. And here, when we talk about evolution, this is not the evolution of Darwin. It's not the theory of evolution that Darwin's talking about. He's close, but he's not there. Right? The evolution is here, is the evolution of species in terms of consciousness. The soul evolves its consciousness, and as it evolves its consciousness, it acquires different species of lives, starting with fish and then moving on right up to human form. So it's a evolution of consciousness and not species. Darwin's theory is that the fish will eventually become, let's say in this case, will become a plant, right? Or will become, some species on the land. So when the fish becomes species on the land, his idea of evolution is that what happens to the fish then? If the fish all evolves to become a species, what happens to the fish? There should be no more. That's Darwin's theory of evolution, right? But what happens now? Still got it. So something's wrong then. See, and that's why he couldn't, even though he could try to explain his theory, but these loopholes were there. If the monkeys are turning into human beings, there should be no monkeys. But then there's still monkeys. So now the question is, then what's happening with when are the monkeys turning into human beings? Right? When are the fish evolving? They don't. The species will keep being there because why? It's not based on evolution, it's based on the desires of the living entities.
Plant life has higher consciousness than aquatic life. How come we eat plants?
So no, plants don't have higher consciousness. In fact, plants have lower consciousness. Their consciousness is more subdued than aquatics or any other plant, any other species. And because their consciousness is more subdued, right, there's less pain inflicted on them in terms of the species. But the reason we eat vegetables is because Krishna eats vegetables. That's the only reason we eat. Okay? If we don't eat vegetables because of lower consciousness, because you can find entities that may have lower consciousness than plants also. And then the scientists will say, but then why don't you eat this then? So, but that's not our reason for eating that. Yeah, the reason for why we eat plants is because Krishna only accepts plants. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. You offer me with love and devotion, leaf, fruit, flower. That's why we accept it. If Krishna had to say, chicken, X, Y, and Z, then we would offer that. Yeah, so that's basically the reason. But yes, they exhibit a lower level of consciousness. Okay, Vivek, you can read.
Highest developed form is human form. It is possessed of a full sense of spiritual knowledge. The highest development of one's spiritual sense is described in this mantra. One should give up the material body, would be turned to ashes, and allow the air of life to merge into the eternal body. The process is to give up one material body and then enter into another. The highest perfection of such changes occurs only when the living is able to give up the material body altogether, as suggested in the enter into the spiritual atmosphere. Then he can develop a completely type of body, a spiritual body, which never has to meet death change.
Right. So Prabhupada in the purport talks about, we taking on different bodies, we evolving, and we give up one body to take on another body according to our desires. But the goal is ultimately to evolve higher and higher in terms of species, consciousness. And then as a human being, the goal is to give up this body, not to get another material body. That's the goal. That's the highest perfection. Most people have absolutely no clue. Firstly, they don't want to speak about death. Right? Then even they do speak about death, there isn't much they know that they can speak about death. Most people want to avoid the fact that we're going to die. But it's a reality. We were just discussing, right? Consider Ethiopian Airlines. Did those people think they're going to, not see the next day? No, everybody thinks, okay, we're going to Nairobi, we're going to be happy, and life goes on, right? Little do they realize in a few minutes that, they did. All the family members, did they know that they're going to die? No. They flying, and they think they're going to safely land, right? Or like our crazy fellow who went into the mosque and just opened fire and killed people. So you're going to a religious place and you get shot. That's the nature of this planet. That's the nature of Kali Yuga. That's why the scripture says this material world is very precarious. Okay, it's like a drop of water that's on a lotus leaf. That drop of water on lotus leaf, what's going to happen? It can fall anytime because the lotus leaf is shiny. So that drop of water that falls there, it's not going to be there permanent. Anytime it can slip down. So that's the nature of the material world. You can be killed, you can leave, you can die at any time. And generally, most people, when they least expect they're going to die, they die. Right? Scriptures are warning us, are giving us a warning that that's not the proper way to leave this world. Because if you die unexpected, oh, I didn't expect to, they're going to die. Or you didn't expect yourself you're going to die. Then that purely means that you got another body. You're coming back. Okay? Because you didn't, it's like somebody's in school. Then they come to school and the teacher said, okay, we're going to give you a test. But you didn't tell us. Guess what's going to happen to that student? He's going to fail because he's not prepared. Right? So it's like that. Oh, I didn't know I'm going to die. And Yamaraj just come and let's go, time out. Your body, your soul is taken out, your subtle body with the soul is taken out and you gone, dead. Those people who die like that means they're taking birth again. So you're probably saying the highest perfection of human life is to die in a way that you don't take birth again. You don't get another material body. In fact, you regain your spiritual form in the spiritual world. That's the highest. That's the best. That's what human life is meant for. That's what perfection is meant for. That is what we call success. Okay, success doesn't mean I get a lot of wealth and a lot of fame, because I'm going to die anyway. And I can be very successful now, and I can be a pauper tomorrow in my next birth. So we don't want to be in that situation. Okay, Ashita.
Here in the material world, material nature when change body to his different desires for gratification. These desires are represented from germs to the most perfect material bodies, those of Brahma and the demigods.
Right. So you'll see the evolution of different species according to the Vedic system, and you'll give up the body, okay, or rather you'll be separated from this body, but because of your attachment to the body, you will have to take birth again to get another body. One has to become detached from the body, and the only way you can become detached from the body is chanting, service. What is chanting and service? What does that do? What does devotional service do? What does cleansing the heart do? Able to see the soul, that you are the soul and not the body. So all these things allow you to become attached to Krishna. So instead of we artificially trying to detach ourselves from this body, all we do is we become more and more attached to Krishna. And understand this body is simply a vehicle to be used in his service. And the more I become attached to Krishna, then automatically I become detached from this body. But as long as I'm attached to this body and the desires to enjoy through this body, because you can consider, like, because the desires are in the mind, the body may start getting old, and it will get old. And somebody is 90 years old, grandma and grandpapa, and grandma and grandpapa are 90 years old, and they still want to go into the disco and dance. Even though it's worth their cane, right? And they're like, okay, we are dancing. Looks funny, but that's the reality. See, the material body, Sankaracharya says, when you start getting old, right, then you can't hear properly. You can't see properly. Your teeth are all out. You can't eat nicely. You got pain everywhere. That's the reality of a aged body. But the desire to enjoy, that's burning stronger than before. See, it doesn't go weaker, goes stronger. So you can imagine, as a young child, in the body of a young child, you had strong desire to enjoy. That desire just becomes stronger when you're going to die, because you still have the desire to enjoy. You're going to get another body because of that attachment to enjoy. Those propensities to enjoy will deliver the result of another body. So one has to purify one's desires. Yes.
Germs and bacteria, do they have souls?
Yes. So remember, in our previous classes we covered, the question is, how can I know if there's a soul in this computer? Or how do I know if there's a soul in the germ's body? Or how do I know if there's a soul in a dog's body? And we said there are 6 symptoms which tells us that there's a soul in any vehicle, any entity or any body. Okay, what were the 6 symptoms, 6 characteristics? No. Right, so first, okay, so before reproduction. Start with number 1. Before you can reproduce, what would be before reproduction? Right, birth. You have to be born. You have to exist. If you don't exist, you can't reproduce. Right? So you have to exist. Birth, number one. Then growth, two. So maintenance, three. Dwindle. Before dwindle, byproducts. Then you dwindle. And then finally die. 6 characteristics. Okay, so now let's see you. Birth, growth, maintenance, byproducts, dwindle, die. So the human body goes through the 6 phases. That means there's a soul there. Okay, let's take this computer. Birth, like birth also means existence. Come into existence, right? Yes. Growth? No. Already one disqualified. If one is disqualified already, you don't even need to go to the rest. Right? It's maintained for some time. It does dwindle, then it gets destroyed. But there's no byproducts and no growth. So immediately no soul in there. So take the germ. Birth? Yes. Growth? Yes. Maintained for some time? Yes. Can it byproducts? Yes. Dwindle? Yes. Die? Yes. So that means there's a spirit soul in the germ.
So we are covered souls.
Correct.
Internally and externally.
Correct. Yeah, that's why Bhagavad Gita says Sarvagata. The soul is all pervading. There's souls everywhere. Take your cell. Does your cell come into existence? Yes. Grows, maintains, byproducts, dwindles, dies. So every soul is a cell. And we got billions of souls, billions of cells. Just this body's got billions of entities. Each cell is an entity. See? And the reason that cell or reason that soul is in a body of a cell is because it had a desire to be a cell. One of the desires. So, okay, no problem. You want to be a cell, you can be a cell. Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you look at all the species, right, some species have funny features. Some have 4 eyes, long nose, long ears, this, that, spots, no spots, all is variety, is an unlimited variety of species. Because it's unlimited variety of desires. Yeah. Yeah. Some got long nose, short nose, big nose, high, all different. Some people want to just use their nose to eat, smell, Okay, you get all whatever desire you want is all fulfilled by the different species. Now the problem is, if you take a child and you put a child into a supermarket and you send a child to the sweet roll, right? What does a child want? Okay, which type? It'll start from one row, right? I want this one, and then I want this one, and I want this one, and I also want this one, and I want this one. So it wants so many. Like that, the living entity also wants so many. See, I desire this, I desire this, I desire this, I desire this. So it's like you practically don't stop desiring. So we have a rule, generally first in, first out. The first desire is what gets first fulfilled. And the other one, just park it until we get, I can switch off the aircon. Yeah. So,
It's hard to control this thing, but it's so many things.
Yeah, just switch it off. So we got so many desires, and because of the desires, they are queued. One desire after another. And it's practically unlimited desires we have. And Krishna also, no problem, let's just, the previous one, let's just sort that out first. Then you go through it, you fulfill that, okay, then next. And practically, it's a never-ending cycle. Yes?
So when the soul takes on, has it then forgotten its own nature?
Correct. Just like right now, you've forgotten your original nature in the spiritual world. Do you know where you stay in the spiritual world? Do you know your name in the spiritual world? Do you know your form in the spiritual world? Do you know what service you do in the spiritual world? But you have all that. So we practically completely forgotten that. In fact, we've forgotten that, and we forgot that we forgot that. Okay, that's what the body does. And now I accept this as me. So I say, where you stay? Lodium. See, so immediately you'll identify you with this body and this location of within the material world, but that's actually foreign. As the Prophet said, it's a foreign dress. He starts the purport with this. It's a foreign dress. If it's a foreign dress, then it's not your identity. It's a foreign identity. It's not you. See? So spiritual life is all about awakening your true identity. That's what the spiritual journey is meant for. As you progress on this journey more and more seriously, that identity is meant to reveal itself more and more. To the extent that one day you will know. If I had to ask you, where are you from? Golok Vrindavan. Which village? You'll tell me the village. Who's your parents? You'll tell me the parents' name. What service you do? I do this for Shrimati Radhavani. You'll know your identity. You'll know, what service you do, because that's your spiritual home. Yeah. So this is a false identity. And because the false identity, firstly, it's foreign, and it has opposing qualities compared to your nature. That's what makes it even more frustrating. See? That you want an eternal relationship, but you have to live in this world where the relationship and everything is temporary. Okay? So that's why it makes it more frustrating. But the reason it's designed like that, because we develop attachments, friends, family, children, right? But then we separate it. That separation is painful. But pain is very conducive for the living and to start thinking. When we get pain, then we say, why? Why am I? Just like I get a back pain, right? Or let's say I get a sharp pain somewhere in my body, back. Then the first thing I think is, why am I getting that pain? See? It's in my back, my bones. Well, I don't know what's that sharp pain. You want to know the source of the pain. Why is it there? So like that, separation, some people are so dull-headed that the separation, oh shame, and life goes on. Right? They meet with death. Like now, these people, right? Okay, so 190, however, 80s people died in a plane. Their family members are lamenting, mourning, right? After 6 months, life goes on. Right? And now it's traumatic. But then life goes on. So they forgot. Nobody thought, wait. What if I'm on a plane? And I'm going to die. But then if I'm going to die, where am I going to go? What happens at the time of death? I need some answers here. Nobody asks, nobody goes into that questioning. See? Why did my loved ones have to leave? Why did they have to leave in this way? Isn't it unfair? See, nobody's questioning that. Because the more you start questioning that, you start getting answers of why it's like that. See? They had collective karma, and therefore, unfortunately, that's the situation. Now, naturally, we won't tell the people that because they may not be ready to learn to hear that. We may, empathize and sympathize with them. But the reality is, that's how karma works. According to desire, you get the next destination. According to collective karma, you're going to get the collective reaction. You can't avoid. See, whatever you're going to get, according to your desires, according to your past, you're going to get. Not a little more, not a little less.
Yes, let's say like something past code.
Yes.
That because they had a riot. They had some desire to enjoy. It wasn't like Krishna wasn't involved in desire or something.
No, every desire, every pain or pleasure is due to our past karma. That's the law of karma. As you sow, so shall you reap. right? If I sow piety, I get piety. If I sow sin, I get sin. So if I sow piety, I get pleasure. If I sow sin, I get pain. That's the law of karma. So everything I get is due to my past. But there are those that accept and understand that it's the law of karma. Therefore, when I'm suffering, they accept, yes, it's my own doing. It's my own past karma. See? It's not that someone imposed or caused me pain. It seems like that somebody is an instrument that caused pain. Let's say somebody breaks into your house and steals. Right? Now you may say, oh yeah, the thief stole something. It's unfair. No, it's not unfair. See, according to your past karma, you did something for you to, let's say you did something where you have to lose that which you have in the future. For example, scripture says if you waste grains, right, then for every grain that you waste in the future, you'll be deprived of that grain. Right? So one day when you have no food, it's not because it's unfair. It's not because of the government. It's not because of the laws. Not because you lost your job. No, it's because of past karma.
So, one of the good doesn't
So remember, no one can be absolutely good and nobody can be absolutely sinful. It's the nature of this material world to go up and down. Right? Everybody has good thoughts and everybody has bad thoughts. So everybody plans good and everybody plans bad. And not just one time, not just two times, practically unlimited times. So you got unlimited good and you got unlimited bad. Now the question is, okay, what you going to get this life? So what the law of karma does is the law of karma already knows the logistics. Let's say you're going to live 100 years. The law of karma already knows the 100 years where you're going to live. Okay. And the law of karma say, okay, so these are the presidents of this country. This is what's going to happen in this country. And if we look at your past karma, it gels very nicely to the logistics of Lodium. Right? So what we'll do, we'll put you there. Because according to where you're going to be, the logistics to burn your karma and to suffer and enjoy fits perfectly. So there we place you. Someone say, okay, no, this one, Lodium is not good. America is good for you. So we put you in America because the logistics of what's going to happen there, right, will be able to burn out your karma. And so law of karma already knows where you're going to be, what body you're going to get, and at the same time, also say, okay, from all your past baggage of karma, mountains and mountains and mountains of it, right? Very quickly, in an instant, these are all the ones we're going to deliver this life. That means all the good, bad, all will be delivered this life. It's like these, it's like ticked. These ones are you going to get. Nothing more, nothing less. Next life, we'll sort out when you get there. So that's how karma is very scientific in that sense. You will not get something you don't deserve. That's why when people say, you can't blame people. It's true, because it's your own actions and reactions that you're getting. And as a devotee, you accept that and then you adjust, because it's very simple. If you don't want to suffer, if you don't want to thorn tree, if you don't want a thorny tree, don't sow thorns. Don't sow plant that has thorns. If you don't want a mango tree, don't sow mangoes. Right? So if you don't want suffering, don't sow suffering. That means mentally, verbally, and physically. Because if you think bad of someone, that's reaction. It's coming. You're going to get mental suffering. You verbally abuse someone, you're going to get verbal suffering. It's coming. Physically, you're getting stuff. It's coming. So don't sow that. Now, if in a material world, the fact that you have to take birth itself means you're going to be, it's a place of duality, means birth and death, means suffering. That's why that's why even if somebody, let's say, if we had to get somebody that does only good, still the fact that you're in this material world of duality, it's not compatible. If you don't want suffering, means you have to stop birth and death, disease and old age. That means only spiritual world. That's the only cure for no suffering. Otherwise, it's guaranteed to get suffering. As devotees, we know we're getting suffering, but our perspective to the suffering, we see it as Krishna's mercy for me to return back to the spiritual world. So we have a different perspective to our own karma. Or we know that if we, as devotees, karma is minimized. So we thank Krishna. Thank you for giving me a smaller reaction.
So we can't completely stop all of that.
You can, you can't. So what we can do is, if we give ourselves completely to Krishna, now two things happen. The day I give myself completely to Krishna, my future, am I creating any good or bad for the future? Neither. Not good, not bad. What am I doing? It's devotional service. Devotional service is transcendental. It's not good or bad. Devotional service doesn't give you a good reaction. It doesn't give you a bad reaction. It gives you a spiritual reaction of bliss. So now I'm not creating any future karma, right? With devotional service. And do I still have baggage? Yeah, plenty, right? But the fact that I surrender to Krishna, I start chanting, start engaging in Krishna's service, what's happening to the past baggage? It's getting burnt. If I see the deity, if I eat prasad, if I chant Hare Krishna, if I read any devotional activity, any devotional contact, zaps my past karma. Okay, and while I'm living and I'm also burning my karma by suffering it. Right, like this material body is karma. I have to live through it. So I'm burning it off. So that way, just consider at one point in my future, because I'm not creating any future karma, and I'm burning my past karma, what's going to happen in the future? Yes, I would have burned my past karma and I have no karma. That means I have absolutely zero karma to suffer. Then I'm liberated. But because I know I'm a servant of Krishna, true liberation means I go back to the spiritual world. Yeah, that's basically what happens. Yeah. Question?
So for devotees, right? For example, some people say, oh, according to my past karma, I have like, is that
Well, you don't
spiritual
know.
karma?
But you don't know. I don't know my past karma. That's speculation.
But according, like, say, for example, you go for college,
Yeah.
and then they say, okay, you have a good relationship with your gurus, and so that's all related to spiritual.
But the problem is, an astrology cannot tell me exactly, especially for a devotee. Yeah. If I'm a devotee, right? We just said if I'm chanting, my karma is changing. Now, if my karma is changing, that list that karma said you're going to come to this material world is changed now. Some are deleted, some are changed, some are minimized, some are introduced by Krishna's arrangement. Now I go to the astrologer cannot tell me the truth.
He will tell you what you can.
Correct. And that's totally different. Right? If he's a bona fide astrologer, most astrologers are hoax anyway. Right? They can tell you anything and you don't know yourself, how are you going to verify? See? It's like, for example, if I have to ask you, okay, how much money is my bank account? Now you can say, okay, you got 2,000 rands. Who's going to verify that? You can't verify that. Right? So it's like there's no way to verify it, and if I tell you, you can't verify it anyway. Yeah, so that's how karma is. You go to someone, but because people, they it's like, well, I want to know. But Prabhupada said, why you want to know? You know you're going to die. See, you're not going to suffer. So really, what astrology is going to tell you, the scriptures will tell you, you're going to get birth, death, disease, and knowledge. That's karma. That's astrology. Yeah. So it's really it's in one sense we can use it for specific things, but really in the end it really has no real substance to it. Yeah. And remember, especially when you surrender to Krishna, things can change. Jagai and Madai, what was their karma? But they became pure devotees. Right? So that if they had to go to an astrologer, I don't want to see them also. What to talk about, They're so demonic and debauches, I don't want to even talk about them. But they became devotees. So by the mercy of the Lord, our life can completely transform. You had a question?
Yes. Is there a relationship between karma and desires? Sometimes you can desire something but not act on it.
Correct.
But you still get the karma for that desire.
So remember, we never stop desiring. And the desiring is planting the seed. When you desire, you plant the seed. Right? Our karma is what we desired in our past. And we have the piety for that desire to fructify. So therefore, what we're suffering and enjoying is our past karma. Action and reaction. The desire is sowing other seeds. So that in the future, or this life, this future, or future lives, I'm planting the seed to get my desired result. Yeah. And sometimes it so happens that I desire this life, but the result is already desired and sown and will fructify. It's like people say, no, if you desire strong enough, you'll get the result. No, it's nonsense. It doesn't work like that. See? Or the law of attraction, if you desire strong enough in your dream and you visualize, you get no, it doesn't work like that. That's not the law. The law is if you sow, so shall you reap. But you have to have the piety for it to fructify. Like I desire to buy a car. Okay, good. Are you going to get the car? No. What you need? The money. So to get the money, you need to work. So you need the credits and you need a desire. If I don't have the desire, I got a lot of money. I don't have a desire to buy a car. Am I getting the car? No. I have lots of desire to buy the car and I have no money. No. So the piety, security, I need for something to fructify. A desire will not fructify if I don't have the piety. So in my past, because I had the piety and my current desire, this life, I'm going to get it. I can desire till I go blue in this life. I'm not going to get more than what my karma says. See? That's why only 1%, generally 1 to 3% people are successful in this world. Why? Which means only for those people that law of attraction is working. Because that's a karma. And for the rest of them, no matter how much they can attract and think and visualize and dream and whatever, nothing's going to happen because they didn't sow the right seeds, or they don't have the piety, but they have the desire. So okay, you have the desire. It's not going to go unfulfilled. It's just going to go in a queue with all the billions of other desires. Put in a queue, and then next Krishna will see in the future. Yeah, that's how the law of karma works. Okay, Raju Kumar, you can read.
Body is highly developed and full consciousness. Culture of knowledge reaches when the knower comes to the point of saying, being known possibly. Otherwise, when after knowledge of one spirituality, one does not come to the point of knowing the no part is puzzle whole. Never the whole. One has to fall down again. Indeed, one must fall down, even he has to become one with it.
Right. So there is no stability. Even if you merge with the Brahman, you're falling. If you are, I know I'm spirit, makes no difference. You're getting another body. You have to understand I'm a spirit soul, I'm part and parcel of Krishna, and I need to develop that relationship with Krishna. Okay? That connection in service to Krishna has to be established. That link to the spiritual world through service has to be connected. If that's not there, I'm getting another body. And for a devotee, getting another body is not, let's say it's not bad in the sense that I haven't finished my journey. I still have to get more purified. So Krishna is going to give you some more time in another place, another body to continue my service. So it's like a school, like a student in school. You know, he's in grade 5, no problem. Grade 6, grade 7 until he goes to matric. So like that, for a devotee, he knows he's not going to now try to exploit this body for sense gratification. He's going to utilize his body for service of Krishna, and he's going to try to develop his relationship. And if he doesn't completely develop his relationship, no problem. You pray to Krishna, my Lord, as this devotee is praying, please help me to continue my journey in your service. Wherever you want me to go, I'll go, but please allow me to continue my service. So in that way, one will continue one's service and ultimately develop, strengthen relationship, develop relation. Once that relation is developed, then there's no coming back to this material world. Okay, can you read, Prabhu?
Desire for lordship, disease, under the spell of sense enjoyment, one creates through the bodies and the world. Becoming one with the Brahma does not represent or knowledge. Only by surrendering unto the Lord on sense of spiritual service does one reach the highest perfectional state.
Right. So as we said, that one's service attitude, one's service to Krishna has to be developed. Okay, completely. If we under the spell of sense enjoyment, as long as we want to enjoy the material world in whatever capacity, that means that enjoyment, that desire to enjoy is an obstacle. Means we need to purify it, means we need to come back. Okay? If we attach to things in the material world separate from Krishna, means it's a material desire, we have to be purified, we have to come back. So the goal is I need to progress to become more and more devotionally centered, service centered, serving Krishna more and more and more until there's nothing but service to Krishna. That's perfection. So it's not like, okay, I'm 1%, yeah, I like Krishna. I go visit him every Sunday. Once a week. But the rest of the week, you have your own agenda. Once a week, I go see Krishna. You're not going back to Godhead like that. See, one has to be 100% attached to Krishna for you to go back to the spiritual. Because you can consider, right? Okay, let's say you're 1% attached to Krishna. And Krishna says, okay, come back home. Now you go back to the spiritual. What are you going to do there? If you're just 1% attached, Krishna, you have TV here. Krishna, where's the cell phone? You got WhatsApp, you got Facebook, internet, right? And you got movies, Netflix. That's what you're going to ask. The gopis, the Radhavan is going to say, can you come do some service? Yeah, I have to. Really? One Sunday? Because your desire is not to serve. So if your desire is not to serve, why is Maya going to send you there? Because if Maya, who's a servant of Krishna, sends you there, what you're going to be there? A disturbance. Yeah, you're going to be you're going to be a foreign object in the spiritual world. See, so rather than be a disturbance and a foreign object, stay here where you are natural. You love to enjoy and suffer. See, and get purified. And eventually, when you do get purified, and naturally, when you get purified, which means when your natural propensity awakens, and most people think when they get purified, it's suffering. It's like you take the fish out of water, right? If I tell the fish, I'm going to put you back in the water, right? No. I'll suffer more. No, that's foolish. If I put you back in water, you'll be healthy, you'll be happy. So most people think when they're on a spiritual journey, it's a journey of suffering. No, it's not a journey of suffering. Spiritual life is a journey of regaining your bliss in service to Krishna. In fact, material life is a journey of suffering. Prabhupada says spiritual life is difficult. Material life is impossible. Now, what are the materialists doing? What are the materialists doing? They're trying to perfect material life. But material life is impossible. You cannot perfect material life. So they are so strong, the desire, the determination is so strong to strive on a path that's impossible. If you tell them, no, give up material life, surrender to Krishna, what are they going to tell you? Fly a kite. We know what we're doing. We're happy. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make a success. So they are so determined to make a success of something that can never become a success. That's how determined they are. See? So as devotees, we know that it's better to be on a spiritual journey that may be difficult, but not impossible. And we should have the same determination that they have on a path of something that's impossible, but they never want to give it up. Okay? We need to have the same determination.
One who is completely under the rule of material nature, yes, formed body, and consequently he gets another material body out. Bhagavad Gita confirms this truth. Yam yam kapi smaram. Unlike the simple animals who don't develop mind, dying human being remembers that lifeline, for his mind remains surcharged with material desires and consequently not intent to the spiritual kingdom. Devotees, however, develop a sense of love for God and practicing devotional service to Him. Even at the time of death, a devotee does not remember his service to them. God does not forget him. This prayer is given to remind the Lord of the devotee's sacrifices, that even if there is no such reminder, the Lord does not forget his service.
Right. So here, first Prabhupada makes the point that we remember all our bad and good activities. And especially at a time of death, everything you've done goes in reverse. But what you think of at a time of death, that's the state, that's the next body you're going to get. Okay? So you've desired so many things. We've got a whole list of desires in this life. You already have a backlog, right? So you've got unlimited backlog. You've added to the backlog. Now Maya is going to think, now what I'm going to give you? You got like a backlog here, you got more here. It's like, I'm confused what I'm going to give you. So Krishna's made a perfect science. The next birth is yam yam vapi smaran bhavan. Whatever you remember about this life, that's your next body. And what you're going to remember? You're going to remember that which you've taken shelter of most. That which you've attached to most. So let's say whenever they have difficulty, they go to Netflix. Or whenever in difficulty, they go to the bottle. Okay. Or whenever they're in difficulty, they go sleep. So in any situation, if they want relief, they want shelter, where they go? Sleep. So that becomes what you're most attached to. Sleep. That's the desire that's the most strongest. Sleep. So at the time of death, what you're going to think of? Sleep. Because you can imagine during your life, whenever there's a challenge, what you go? Sleep. Now death, which is most challenging, what you going to do? What you going to desire? Sleep. The mind will automatically gravitate to that. You can't avoid the mind to go to what you're most attached to. It's just natural. Mind immediately goes to sleep. So therefore, next life, Sleep, become a bear. Sleep most of your life. So that's how the body is dictated. As soon as the mind locks on something, which you're most attached to, that's the next body. Now, your mind is already locked onto the next body. Then karma will say, oh, that's the next body. Okay, where? See the situation, maybe next, another universe, another planet, could be anywhere in creation. Look at your karma, quickly balance. This is what you're going to get. That's your package. Come in with your package in this material world. Okay? And that all happens instantly in terms of the karma. So it's not that, if I just think of Krishna, I go to Krishna. No, it's about remembrance of Krishna. Remembrance is a deeper quality of my attachment. So therefore, Prabhupada says the best way, and Prabhupada makes very clear, as long as you have material desires, you can't go back to the spiritual world. Because material desire means impurity. That material desire must be zeroed. Anya bilasita sunyam. I have no other desire other than to serve Krishna. That's the only desires I have to have, spiritual desire, service to Krishna. Any other desire means body. Because body, we already read, body is coming because of different desires. So if you have a desire, okay, that means it will be fulfilled. So therefore you get a material desire, material body. And you cannot enter the spiritual world. And the best way to purify all our desires is through devotional service. And by practicing devotional service and by perfecting that, I can remember Krishna. And even if it so happened that at a time of death, depending on a circumstance, an accident or something, and I cannot remember Krishna, Krishna will remember me. Krishna will remember the soul because he's a person. He's not inanimate. Right?
Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains these verses. One should regard a devotee of Krishna by the Thakur, even though such a devotee may seem to be
Sudurachar.
person of loose character. One should try to understand the real purport of the word.
Sudurachar.
A conditioned soul has to act with double functions, even meet the body, and self-realization, social status, mental development, austerity, punishment, struggle for existence, are all for the maintenance of the body. Self-realization part of one's activity. Executed in one's occupation as a devotee of the Lord, one performs actions in that condition also.
Right. So Prabhupada in the purport talks about this point because Krishna will never forget you because of your service. As we engage in devotional service, there's a relationship that's developed. And that relationship that we develop with Krishna is very special. Krishna does not take that relationship lightly. Because you can imagine, right? Just this body alone, how many cells, how many spirit souls? Billions, trillions. And out of the trillions here, one living entity wants to think of Krishna and try to be a devotee. Out of the billion souls on this planet, human beings, consider how many insects, reptile, birds, bees, grass, trees, flowers, all the cells put together. There's practically unlimited number of spirit souls. So if a living entity really desires to develop a relationship with Krishna, he sticks out. He's unique. He's rare. He's very special. So Krishna does not take that person lightly. Krishna will focus on that person. In fact, you take one step to Krishna, he takes 10 to you, because that's how rare it is for somebody to surrender to Krishna, to even say, I want to know you, Krishna. And as what we talk about then, when that person starts to become serious and starts to serving Krishna, starts to chant, he wants to please Krishna, he wants to develop relation, wants to return back home, that person becomes very, very, very special to Krishna. And Krishna says, even if such a person, due to previous attachments, unintentionally deviates, does something wrong, I still consider that person to be saintly. Because due to past influence and bad habits, he does something wrong, but he knows it's wrong. He laments it's wrong. He repents it's wrong. And he continues to serve. That person still is saintly. And here Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur talks about two activities. Because when we recognize I'm a servant of Krishna, I start to serve Krishna, but at the same time, materially, I still have to, do things related to this material body, maintain this body and be in the material world. And so therefore, being in the material world is a risk. So it's still a risky profile. And due to that risk, I may, deviate. I may do something that's wrong. But that is forgiven because it's not intentional. It's due to bad habit. Unintentionally, I may, false, I may slip. Krishna accepts. Krishna says one is still saintly. Okay. So that's why if a practicing devotee is on the path of bhakti and is sincere, and he may do something wrong, or he may have loose character, or he may not be, exemplary, we should be very careful not to find fault with that, or criticize or condemn that. Because in Krishna's eyes, he's still very special. Because he still wants to go to Krishna. He sincerely wants to surrender to Krishna. Right? So because of that, we need to be very careful, and rather than focus on others, we should look at on improving ourselves. Rather than judge and see, okay, but he's a devotee, why is he doing that? No, don't worry about that. If he's a devotee and he's doing something wrong, that's between him and Krishna. If it's his weakness, Krishna will sort him out. If it's unintentional, Krishna will forgive him. Right? And if he knows that it's wrong and is doing it, Krishna will give him a reaction. You can't, there's no, it's not like I plant a seed, I water it, and I will not get a fruit. You plant a seed, you water it on fertile soil, you're going to get the fruit. As you sow, so shall you reap. It's a scientific law. You can't plant you can't plant something and say, oh, sorry, I don't want a fruit. Sorry, fruit is coming. Right? It's like you want to drive into the wall. So you accelerate and drive the car into the wall, and then you say, no, I didn't want that. Too bad. You just did that and you can't avoid it. Right? Or it's like saying, oh, I came to the material world, I didn't want that. Guess what? You're here. you did something wrong and now you're here. Right? So you can't say, well, I didn't want it. No, we understand you didn't want it, but you got the result. Now you have to do something about the fact that you're here. Okay? Not like some people say, yeah, but I didn't want it. No, but I didn't want to come here. No, but I'm sure I didn't want to come here. But I couldn't have done. And you keep thinking like that, but that's not going to help the solution. Like they say, right? You can't cry over spilled milk. But I didn't want to spill the milk. No, I'm very sorry. Hold on, the milk is spilled. Clean it up and stop, lamenting. Do something about it so it never happens again. Okay, so that's we have to be very careful in terms of this. But at the same time, we shouldn't use this and motivate our bad actions. Okay, we have to. If we do something wrong, we should lament. We should know it's wrong, and we should, pray to Krishna. Please forgive me. I want to, purify my life. I have bad habits. Please, by the process of devotional service, all your bad habits and material desires, just understand, by devotional service, all your material desires can be burnt. If all your material desires can be burnt, that means all your bad habits can be burnt. Because your bad habits are based on your desires. See, so if we do something wrong, we should simply lament to Krishna and pray to Krishna and engage more strongly and seriously in devotional service.
9 principles of devotional service. All the faculties suggested in this mantra can be obtained by constant contact with personal features of absolute truth. These 9 principles of devotional service, taken all together or one by one, help a devotee to remain constantly in touch with God. In this way, at the end of life, it is easy for the devotee to remember.
Right, so Prabhupada in the purport talks about these 9 principles, because Prabhupada said the only way to purify all your material desires is devotional service. Then Prabhupada talks in the purport of 9 principles of devotional service: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Bandham, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedam. Different 9 processes of principles that one can engage in. One can hear about Krishna, chant about Krishna, remember Krishna, serve Krishna in different ways. So if you engage in any one or all, Prabhupada is saying, one together, all together, or one individually, it helps you to remain constantly in touch with Krishna. So devotional service really keeps you connected to Krishna. That connection purifies you. That connection is our link to the spiritual world. Right? So the more we intensify that connection, the more we continue serving, we hearing, chanting, etc., it becomes stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger until I become attached to Krishna. The only reason I became attached to this body is because I've been getting this body billions and trillions and unlimited number of times until it becomes natural. Right? If I keep doing something at work for years and 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 years, I can close my eyes and do it. Okay, and I can become attached to it. So similar devotional service. Now, because I'm so used to things in the material world because of repeatedly doing it and becoming attached to it, now I need to unattach myself. I need to readjust my attachments to Krishna. So therefore I start doing devotional service, devotional practice, chanting, hearing, etc. And the more I do that, now my attachment is getting transferred. I'm now losing, let's say, more losing taste for things in the material world and cultivating attachment to Krishna more and more and more and more until I now don't have an attachment to the material world. I will use and utilize what's in the material world for my service, but I have no attachment to it. Okay, my attachment is to Krishna. And in this way, at the time of death, when my shelter and attachment is Krishna, then when death comes, the most difficult situation in life, I want shelter. Where do I go? Krishna. Okay, so that's the science. I want to, it's like if someone loves to protect themselves and their family with guns, he's got half a dozen guns at home. Every weekend he's at a gun range shooting. Right? He just loves it. Every day he's polishing his guns. So as soon as a burglar, thief breaks in, where do you think he's going? His guns. Right? That's the first thing he's not going to think about his family. As soon as somebody breaks in, the first thing they think of is the gun to protect the family. Just a natural tendency because of his attachment to the guns. Like that, whenever something happens to a devotee, where does he go? Krishna. He chants the holy name. So he's developing his attachment to that ammunition, that protection. Lord Nrsingadev, that protection. So that when death does come, now this same fellow, death comes, what is going to do? Where he wants to run? To his guns. The problem is by the time he gets his gun, even with his gun, he can't shoot death. See, the gun's going to do nothing. He can use all his bullets, all his magazines, he can finish it. He can't kill Yamaraj, he can't kill Yamadutas. That guns are not going to have any impact on the danger of death. Right? He can hold all his guns, he will be snatched out of this body, and all these guns and the body is left behind and is taken away. So nothing will help at the time of death besides Krishna. So when for a devotee death comes, immediately his shelter, his protection is Krishna. Conclusion. unless one is accustomed to devotional service, what will he remember at the time of death? Okay, what is going to remember at the time of death if he's not accustomed to devotional service? All his material attachments. When the body is dislocated, and how can he pray to the Almighty Lord to remember his sacrifices? Sacrifice means denying the interests of the senses. One has to learn this art by employing the senses in the service of the Lord during one's lifetime. See, you can't say, like the student, right? So the teacher will tell, okay, so next month you're going to write a test, first of next month. Then 1st of next month comes, and the student at 5 o'clock in the morning, he's going to pull his textbook out and start going through his textbook. He's writing his test at 8 o'clock. Is he going to pass? No. Unless he's a special student like Bhakti Siddhanta who can memorize, who can remember, got photographic memory. But otherwise, no. He's going to fail. You can't prepare last minute. It's impossible. Even if you know that you have to remember Krishna at a time of death, when death comes, you will not think of Krishna. Your body, your mind, your senses, it's like you can test yourself if you don't believe me. So, take a fire, set the fire light, or set up a fire, right? Then think of your favorite TV program and take your hand and put it near the fire and close it to the fire. And keep thinking of a TV program. And keep moving the hand closer to the fire. What's going to happen? You're going to get burned, but are you going to think of a TV program? No. At one point, the TV program is going to become insignificant. Right? That TV program is going to turn to, I'm getting burnt. I need to take my hand away. Fire is going to start. You're going to start thinking of the fire. Okay? That's what happens at a time of death. The pain that you're going to feel at the time of death will force you to think of what you're most attached to. Not what you want to think, what you're most attached to. It's just the way. That's why, people will get a body according to their attachments. So that's why Prabhupada says we need to learn the art. We need to cultivate. We need to employ our senses in the service of Krishna during our lifetime, every single day. We need to cultivate chanting, hearing, serving, every single day, reading. And one can utilize the result of such practice at a time of death. So all that cultivation, the fruits of all that cultivation will be delivered at the time of death. Somebody wants to run Olympian sprint. World champ, they want to become the world champ. And they have never ran in their life. If they now go run on that day, what's going to happen? They may get a heart attack. Right? Because as soon as they try to push so much pressure, the body is not going to, they're going to get a heart attack. For them to win the world champ, what they have to do? Practice. When? Once a week? No. Every single day. They have to put time. Right? So similar like that, if that's with the world champ, what to talk about going back to the spiritual world? You cannot go back to the spiritual world by going one day to the Sunday program. It's not going to happen. You have to cultivate every single day. We have to cultivate the practice of hearing and chanting about Krishna. In that way, I'm molding my life more and more. That attachment is increasing more and more. And it's gradual, but that's the science. I have to become attached to Krishna. And the more I do that, the more I'll want to do that. Until I'll I can stay in the material world, I can be in the material world, but not of the material world. I'm always thinking of Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. I'm always thinking of Krishna's pastimes. I'm always chanting the holy name. See? And when I'm in that situation, then you will find that death simply means I close my eyes and I open my eyes and Krishna is there. And the experience of death is not like the materialists. The experience of death for a devotee is Krishna's love. Like the mother cat. The mother cat carries in her sharp teeth, she carries the kitten on the neck, and the kitten feels protected, feels loved, feels sheltered. Those same teeth on the rat is death. So exactly the same teeth. But on the kitten it's love. On the rat it's death. So the jaw of death for the materialist is like the rat experience. For a devotee, it's like the kitten experience. So here Sri Isopanisad is, through this devotee, he's praying. And he's conscious that he knows he's dying. See? And he knows that because I'm dying, Krishna, please remember, please help. Naturally, a pure devotee, he doesn't pray to Krishna to help him. A pure devotee will say, my Lord, whatever you want. I've surrendered to you. Wherever you want to take me, whatever destination you want to give me, it's up to you. You do whatever you please. Okay, here the devotee is still aspiring, which is fine. Krishna, please remember all I did. I'm scared. No problem. Krishna, he accepts the aspirant devotee's attitudes and consciousness. But because we're on the right path, that is the most important thing. If you endeavor all your life but on the wrong path, it's a total waste of time. You're on the right path, yes, for some people, they'll take it slow. The danger with taking it slow, if you take it too casual, probably you can become a casualty. See? So that's the danger. Or you took casual and you can get straight. So devotee know that one's life is like an emergency. And therefore one has to seriously, it's like a house catches on fire. You don't say, yeah, no problem. Next week we'll sort it out. No, your house is on fire. Death, disease, and fire needs to be extinguished immediately. So this material body, Prabhupada writes in the purport, material desires is a disease. Being in this material world is a spiritual disease. Having this body is a disease. It's a spiritual disease. So I need to extinguish, I need to get rid of it quickly. The only way to get rid of it quickly is by serving Krishna, by surrendering to Krishna. In this way, the more I surrender, the more I engage in devotional service, I'll be more blissful. And the fact that I know I'm going to go back to the spiritual world just make you more and more excited. Because there, in relation to Krishna in the spiritual world, there's a whole new world waiting for us to serve Krishna. So we have to understand our position in this material world, take advantage of service to Krishna, and regain our relationship and go back. All right, so let this temporary body be burnt to ashes and let the air of life be merged with the totality of air. Now, my Lord, please remember all my sacrifices, and because you are the ultimate beneficiary, please remember all that I have done for you. All right, any questions or comments anyone has? Mm-hmm.
One question, going back to, you have to be healthy in order to serve. If you are not generally a healthy person, does that become a disqualification? In terms of the life, you won't be able to go back to God because you.
So if you're not healthy, doesn't mean you can't go back to Godhead. Because remember, bodily health does not dictate whether you go back home. Right? Whether you completely Krishna conscious dictates whether you back home. Now let's rephrase that. Are you sick or the body is sick? So if you have a sick body, can you still go back home? because the body is sick, not you. You may be fully Krishna conscious in a sick body, but the scriptures doesn't say you need to have a healthy body to go back to Godhead. You need to be Krishna conscious to go back to Godhead. So you can be fully Krishna conscious in a sick body and you go back to Godhead. Right? Did Prabhupada at the time of death, when he was leaving this world, have a deteriorated body, a body that was completely man-satiated? Yeah. But he was fully conscious of Krishna. That's what takes you back home. But for you to become attached to Krishna means you need to serve Krishna. If you're sick, right, and always in pain, it becomes very difficult for you to remember Krishna. See, sometimes when you have flu, fever, and you're in bed, to pick up your bead bag is an austerity, because the illness takes over, right? That's the point. So when we're healthy, we need to cultivate attachment to Krishna. And if we maintain health, at least we can cultivate devotional service. I can practice devotional service if I'm healthy. If I'm always sick, that becomes a damper. That becomes it doesn't, I don't have the same enthusiasm, same drive if I'm ill. And yes, you'll never be always healthy. You'll be sick and healthy. It's the nature. Duality of this world you can't avoid. You're going to experience duality, happiness and disease and sickness, health and disease, health and sickness you're going to experience. But at least I want to stay as healthy as possible, as long as possible, to serve Krishna and to maintain that, to cultivate that attachment. Once I'm a pure devotee, then sickness doesn't make a difference, because then I'm transcending the body. Once I transcend the body, whether I have the body, don't have a body, sick body, healthy body, makes no difference, because that I've already transcended the material modes of material nature of the body. Yeah. But until then, like I put my hand in the fire, right, it's going to burn me. But if I'm totally transcendental, I can put my hand in the fire will burn my hand, and what's going to happen to me? Nothing, because I'm not getting burned. Why? Because I'm not the body. Yeah. So that's somebody who's totally transcendental. Somebody who's totally attached to Krishna. They're aloof. Prabhupada never felt the pain, because he was totally transcendental to the body. Even though his skin was touching his bone, there was no flesh. See, and from a doctor perspective, if your skin is touching your bone, you will be screaming in excruciating pain. Yeah, Prabhupada wasn't, because his consciousness was fully Krishna conscious. Yeah. So health, helps, but it's not the criteria to go back home. Criteria to go back home is I need to be attached to Krishna. I need to revive my loving relationship with Krishna. Pure devotional service is the criteria. Yeah. Health, like this body. I don't need the body to go back. I need love to go back. But how am I going to cultivate that love when I don't have that love? I need the body. See, the body is a bad bargain. So I need to use the bad bargain in Krishna service. Make best use of the bad bargain. Same thing, health. See, I need to use health to serve Krishna. I need to use wealth to serve Krishna. Yeah. And that way I can become attached. Is that okay?
If you like sick and obviously like so practice, but you have that desire for Krishna.
What desire?
The desire to serve.
Yes. Correct. Yes. So if I'm sick and I can't serve Krishna, but you have the desire, then Krishna sees the desire. Just like if I'm dying, I'm getting old, I like to serve, but the body's capacity is limited. And because the body's capacity is limited, I still have the desire to serve, but maybe at that time, all I can do is chant Hare Krishna. See, even then, I may not be able to chant. All I can do is think of chanting of Hare Krishna. I can chant in my mind, because the body is, is practically bedridden and can't move and dying. It's totally deteriorated, skin and bones. So all I can do is think of Krishna. Yeah, but materially, it seems I'm suffering. But because I've cultivated attachment, internally the soul is still vibrant. See, the soul never goes through the stages that the body goes through. Soul is still eternally vibrant and always, powerful, full of energy. So when you revive that Krishna consciousness, the soul will still be fully Krishna conscious in that state, or still be able to think of Krishna. Yeah. Our goal is simply to, as far as possible, every day try to intensify our attachment to Krishna, cultivate that attachment more and more. Okay. Any other questions? No other question. We'll stop there. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.